Well, Happy New Year, everybody. So, welcome to the first call of 2026. I'm pretty good about it. I haven't written 2025 and then crossed it out in my journal yet, Danielle.
Yeah,
Usually, the first couple of days, like, oh, yeah, I cross out the year and have to redo it, but I haven't done that yet. So, it's been pretty good.
that's awesome. Off to a good
Yeah.
start.
We're off to a good start. Well, Danielle and I have been talking to a lot of different members, and I've been doing onboarding calls with people that are joining. And I think it's really important that tonight we're going to spend some time going through some basic things. We've had a lot of updates to Huzi over the last month and a half or so, Danielle, wouldn't you say?
hmm
I mean, a
hmm
lot of new quality of life features, a lot of new things that some people don't know anything about. So I want to spend some time going through that tonight. I would love interaction from you on the call tonight as well. Danielle and I want your feedback. I mean, we had a 2 hour meeting with Eric this afternoon. We have another one tomorrow. We're always trying to make the platform better and more user friendly and stickier. So you'll go there and use it regularly. So your feedback is very important. And quite often I get feedback with stuff that people don't know that's very simple. So Danielle and I were talking about, okay, we need to spend some time on these calls going through like literally some of the basic new changes you might not be aware of. So we're going to spend some time on that tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited. And we love the feedback, not only on like little things you'd like changed because maybe the interface is improved, but also hearing how you use the platform really does inform the development. As we learn use cases and stuff, specific maybe standard operating procedures that you're using, your Canvas boards for, or even SparkPad really all of that really informs how the interface iterates as well too when we know why you return, how often you return, which elements maybe that you're looking to bring in repetitively from one use case to the next. So all of that feedback and sharing your specific use cases is really powerful.
Yeah, and it's key, guys, to get started off the year with a solid foundation using Huzi and using AI. It's been around long enough now. People are always talking about, I need to do more AI, but they're just not sure what to do. And so we're going to go through some more use cases tonight. We're going to talk about how other people are using it. I would love your feedback. We also want to show you different ways to use it. I was talking to my daughter the other day, and I did an ice bath comment on this a couple days ago, but she was commenting on the calendar, how it's funny that we pick January 1st as like, okay, now is a good time to reset or reflect and plan and have a vision. It's like New Year's resolutions or goals. She's like, it's just an arbitrary date, Dad. You can just do that anytime. I'm like, yeah, you could do it anytime. You're exactly right. And the important point that she made, she's 17, she's pretty insightful. She said, just because the calendar changed doesn't mean anything is going to change in your life. I'm like, that's right. Just because the new year has a different calendar date doesn't mean anything's going to change for us unless we change our behaviors. And I said, you can use anything to change your behavior. You could use a Monday morning. Like it could be the new year. It could be your birthday. It could be an anniversary. It could be anything you pick. It doesn't matter. But the point is, you have to make some behavioral changes in order to see different results. That's the bottom line. And if you want to use the new year, that's great. Danielle and I are big proponents of the 12-week year. I don't like waiting 12 months. That's a long time for me. My brain just does not work that way. I need more often check ins than that. I like weekly check ins. But the 12-week year is a great book that Danielle and I have done a video on this platform
Mhm.
and talking about how to implement that. And like every quarter, in other words, is a new year. But getting the year started off strong using AI, I think is really important as well. So I want to show you some things. I want to go through, I'm going to share some screenshots here. And Danielle, I want you to share yours as well. Um, but being consistent is important getting in here. So I want to show the platform to everybody. So you want to look here at my canvas. Can you see my canvas, Danielle?
Yeah, we see it. Yep,
All right.
your boards here.
So there's several new things that a lot of people don't know about that I want to make sure you realize. So one of the things which I learned after I'd been up for a little while was like how to create groups. You notice I've put all these books. I have 6 books I'm talking to with this chat box. Well, I've grouped them all in one fun little group so they're not spread out all over the place. So like, well, how do you do that? Well, you would just click on your canvas and cover. You see how I did that? Then I right click. So I left click to cover these 3 elements. I right click group elements. Boom, now I have a group. So instead of having a messy canvas with stuff all over the place, I could take them out of the group if I wanted. Just click on that little arrow and they're out of the group. But if I wanted things together, this was just a really kind of a quality of life thing. I left click to cover these things. Now they're all highlighted. I right click, group elements, and there we go. So that to me was a very simple thing. I saw Danielle and Nate doing it, and I didn't know how they were doing it. So I had to ask. It's like, oh yeah, this is a really cool thing, especially if you have a board with a lot of stuff going on, which sometimes I'll build a board with like 3 or 4 different chat boxes with a lot of elements that they're each talking to, and it gets I can't see it all. First of all, it gets visually very messy. So grouping, that's really cool. You can group elements and you can attach the whole group to your chat box. So
So
that
let's
was one of the quality of life things I want to make sure everybody knows how to do. Danielle, do you use that? Tell me about what your philosophy is when you create a board.
Absolutely, absolutely, Rick. And for a couple different reasons. One, to your point, sometimes our boards get, really big and we've got a lot of different elements that are informing our chats, which are awesome. So even just for simplicity or maybe some organization's sake, the grouping is fantastic. But another application for this is, and Rick, curious if
This
you
is
have
this
boards
is the
like
messy
this
one.
as well too. Yeah. Okay, this is a really great example. So there are certain projects or processes that I have where if I'm bringing in one sales book, I'm also bringing in two others that are similar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, let's say business planning, right? If I'm doing business planning, I'm usually using Jack Canfield's, success principles, Simon Sinek's Start with Why, and then the 12-week year. Those are things like if I'm using one, I'm probably using all three of them, right?
Right?
But then I may have a second step in that same process. So I'm on the same board where I want to then infuse other books. So I would maybe group those three together so that it's
Mm-hmm.
effectively just one connection point, right? But then I can bring other ones in. So instead of just having all these free flowing individual elements, if there are things that work together in conjunction with one another, that's a really fantastic use case of grouping. Another example would be
So you
if
could
you
group things
have
in separate groups, is what you're saying, Danielle. I could group these
exactly.
together. Now
Uh-huh.
they're grouped, and then I could have some books on different things if I wanted, and have a different group. Is what you're saying? Is that right?
Yep, and then you may pull that the one thing might come in and out of your influence, right? But you've got those other ones that are remaining there. The same thing might happen if you have a board that is a team you've put together, right? So maybe you've got a marketing expert that you're accessing, and you're bringing in Alex Hormozi's books, and you've got a persona that's on some type of marketing elements or something like that. And then you group all
Mm-hmm.
of those elements together. So they may not even be all books, but they could be of the same focus,
Right.
right? And
Yep.
then so you've got one grouping that's marketing, one that is processes or operations or something like that. And then you could bring in all of those elements together to inform one chat or pull certain pieces out. So this is a really great way to really focus your context, which, as we're always training, context is key when you're working with AI, right? You've got access to this large language model, which has all the information, but the more context you can provide, the more rich your responses are. And so Canvas is the perfect interface, right, to visually bring in context and provide context to your AI chat without being a prompt engineer.
Well, yeah, that's I love the canvas for that. So I was going to show one other thing here. I had to get out of this so I could show you one other thing I wanted to make sure we talked about, which so the canvas examples, we all know this, right? We have examples right here that are with everybody has these on
Mhm.
your canvas. So you can play around with these, you can copy these boards, you can play with them and get ideas from them. We can create a new folder. See, this is only about a month old, guys. Right here where it says new folder, I can create a new folder. What do I want to name it? Maybe I want to name it health and fitness. So now I have a health and fitness folder. Well, I can just drag stuff like health and longevity. I'll drag that into my health and fitness folder. Now it's not here. It's in my health and fitness folder. So I could drag anything I have to do with health and fitness. I just drag up to that folder. And now I could have, instead of having 50 boards like I have, I like to think this way. I have like 600,000 emails in my inbox.
Yeah.
I know they'll drive some of you crazy. I like the mess because I can search it easily. But if you wanted to create the folders, you just create a new folder at the top, name it whatever you want, and then drag the boards that fit with that category in here. And if you don't want it in there anymore, you just remove it from the folder. and now it's back.
Hmm.
Held along, it's back out here. You can delete the folder. Oh, I don't want that folder anymore. But you can create folders, put stuff in them, make this a lot cleaner. I know that's important to some people. So Eric was really big on making this a little bit more clean and user friendly that way to create boards, group them together, create folders, put similar boards like that together. How many of you didn't know you could do this? Just out of curiosity on the call. Anybody did not know you could do this? Yeah.
I see
Is
hands
this
raised.
helpful?
Okay, awesome. Must be helpful then.
Is that something that's helpful that you guys think you might use? I see some nodding.
For
Linda, you're nodding.
sure.
Robert,
Yeah.
what's that, Scott?
Yeah, no, for sure. As I'm very visual, you know what I mean? And if I have too much going on spread out, I
Mhm.
get a little confused. But if I can compartmentalize and put them into sections like that, it definitely helps me be, it would help me be more organized. Sure.
You can organize all the boards into one
Yep.
folder that have like a similar category, like real estate lead generation folder, and have a bunch of
Yep.
folder boards in there, or your health and fitness, or your family and relationships, or whatever. And then you just have like 5 or 6 folders with all your boards in there. So that's a lot neater way to go. And then in the board, remember, you can left click to highlight things and then group them together. So inside the board, you're a lot more neat and tidy as well, Scott.
Mhm.
So I like that. So
And
Danielle,
putting
questions on
folders
that. I want to
really,
go to a couple other things, but
yeah.
those like Canvas updates, what do you think about that, Danielle?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too, because I hate to skim past it as well too. We take for granted sometimes when things have been in there for a while, but if you haven't noticed them, Rick just talked about the templates. So if you have any questions about those, please explore them. Just kind of high level too. Um, they're inspiration boards is how we refer to them, even though they're kind of examples and templates, if you will. But the different variations that we've put together here for you in these examples is to kind of get you to realize, one, there's no one right way to organize a canvas by any means, right? And then also you can start to see the different thought process that takes place on these canvases. And so take some time to kind of look through that, because it may spark some different use cases in your own life, personal or business,
Is
and then
there
also might prompt some different ways of approaching things on your canvas as well.
is there a limitation to the number of connections to the chat, or it's not something that we would have to really worry about?
No, no, there shouldn't be. Now, keep in mind, um, generally speaking, your context and your connections are to provide kind of more some limitations. So most of the time we see that people, I mean, I've had boards, what would you say, Rick? Chat blocks with maybe 10 different connections, but that's probably the
Yeah, when I
most you've
first
ever had.
started, I had too many, but then I started realizing, Danielle, I could have different chat boxes on the same board doing different things. So I don't typically do more than about 5 or 6 typically elements attached to one chat box, but you can do it as many as you want, Robert. It just kind
Yep.
of
Hmm.
depends what you're trying to accomplish.
Hmm. And then
Sure.
if you do have that many, Robert, that's where a grouping could be really helpful, so that you can clearly
Hmm.
see that this group of books, and
Create
then it's
groups.
just one connection thread, right?
Sure.
So if you're
Sure.
you're combining things of similar value.
So here's a board my wife did a long time. My wife did this board several months ago, and she just put tons of videos up on here, but she didn't know about grouping and she didn't know about you could have multiple chat boxes. So this is what it would look like if you were really messy. What I would do, she hasn't used this board in a couple months, but I would go back and group these videos into different categories, and I might have 2 or 3 chat boxes talking to the different kinds of videos on the same board. So it doesn't have to be this messy, but you can have as many as you want.
Let me ask you a question. Rick, you mentioned that maybe you might have a lead generation grouping or chat. Um, Obviously, I guess you would create something like that to obviously get something out or to get some direction as far as lead generation. Would you say that, I mean, I would imagine you would want to be able to come up with some prompts, I guess, to use so that, I mean, obviously you're trying to learn, so you don't, you don't know what you don't know.
Mhm.
So you're trying to pull out information from this grouping that you created in this chat box that has all this information, all these videos or all this, like there you got the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book by
Hmm.
Gary
Hmm.
Keller. I mean, obviously you want to pull out probably a format or maybe a structure that you would like to adopt.
Hmm.
Um, I guess you would do that by what? Coming up with different prompts to guide you.
Yeah, you can create your own prompts, Robert,
Yeah.
right in the chat, obviously, or you could just bring in another chat box,
Mm.
right? You can add another chat box and then use this as your prompt generating chat box. Have you tell it what you're trying to accomplish. Help me generate some prompts that are going to get good results from this board. And literally, you can create your own prompt generator on the board, and then you could use those prompts it generates in the main chat box you're talking to.
Yeah. This is
Interesting.
exciting. This leads us to our next feature that we're gonna show you. So, but what Rick's getting at here is that, Canvas was initially created and designed so that you don't have to be a prompt engineer, right? That
Right.
that all you have to do is start with clarity and what it is that you're looking for. Know that you want to leverage AI, that's your chat block. And then if you were a prompt engineer, you would understand that context is key and you would have all these different parameters. We have crafted Canvas so that you can just bring that in visually through a book or a file or something like that. Now, one step further for even more context would be an actual prompt. So what we've put together is a prompt studio block. So Rick can show us this here by clicking the little wand. It's the down at the bottom. There we go. The wand at the bottom of your toolbar. And so this is a prompt studio where you can um, explain, what it is that you're wanting to accomplish briefly, and then general parameters, right? Which we've learned this kind of early on with ChatGPT is like tone and all of that, what we're kind of looking for, what type of outputs we're looking for. Sometimes we want things generated in bullet pointed fashion or tables, things like that. And so you can just merely click some buttons, give any additional details you want, and then click generate prompt. And there you've got a block that will do that for you.
So it's designed to do that specifically. You could use another chat box, or you could use this is a new addition to
Mm-hmm.
replace adding another chat box to it. This is going to be even more precise to create a prompt for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we create personas for you, right? Everybody understands the personas. You have personas now you've saved. It'll you can use any persona you've already done, or you can create a new persona. You just describe what you want the persona to be good at. You can add assets to the persona. Let's say you want to add a book, or you want to add a file to your fitness coach. You want to add your lab work from your doctor. You did your blood work at your sports medicine doctor, like I did last month. So I want to add all that lab work, and I want to add Peter Attia's book, Outlive. I can add assets to my persona, and then that's going to give even more context to the chat box.
So what that's like, that persona. So previously, okay, I want a business coach. I want a real estate business coach, right? And you bring in that persona, and so then you would attach that to your chat block, and then that persona, that expert, is informing that AI generation. Super valuable. Now, though, what Rick's pointing out is that we can feed it information. So it gets more and more like having your own team of people who have read certain books with you, who have been informed by that last event you put together or that last sales call with the transcript, all of that. And now they forever have that information. And so it just, the more context you provide to each one of these block boosts, the more valuable it is. In regard to
And
the
that's the
prompt
power,
studio.
Danielle, of this. The power of this is this is source first. People don't, I don't think, understand how powerful
Mhm.
this is. If you just use normal chat GPT or typical LLM models, Perplexity, Claude, any of those, you're doing prompt first. And then it's searching the internet to find the source to answer your question. We're doing source first, not prompt first. You're giving it the stuff you want it to pull from. It'll pull from the general internet if you want it to, just like ChatGPT will. Or you can say, look, I want you to focus on this book or this series of books or this set of videos. That's what I want. I like this guy or this gal. I like what they're talking about. I want that to influence my chat, not just the general internet. That's very different, guys. That's the difference between specialized knowledge and general knowledge. if you're a really good prompt engineer, you can get ChatGPT to do those kinds of things. We do it much easier. You just bring the asset into the board that you want it to talk to, and there you go. You get to choose the experts that you're talking to. That's a huge advantage over just the average of what the entire internet says, which is what LLM models do inherently.
And thank you so much for bringing up prompting, Robert, because there's a couple different applications for prompting too. We think prompt is the initial question that we put in our AI chat block, and then we get a generation back and a response. The other thing that we can do too, though, is create a prompt. And so a context block is essentially that as well too. It's just more on the global level. So it's going to be in informing everything that it's connected to. So an example of this may be that you create a board, and Rick, you may even have an example of one that we can bring up, or I could bring it up on my computer as well too. But you've got a board that's created so that all you have to do is go in and say, hey, hello, or good morning. And because of a context block, which really has a long, lengthy prompt in there you've put in there, what your AI is going to say every time you do that is, hey, here's the latest market update for your area. Is there something you want to do with this? Do you want to create, an image or something like that? So you can take a process that's really repetitive in your business, spend a moment to create a prompt, draft a board, so that then every time you return, the only thing you have to say is, let's go, right? Or today's the day, or three
Yeah,
more
so these
sales
boards,
or
Danielle,
something.
is a great point. These boards are durable. You don't have to make a new board every single time you want a new thing. You create one board, what she's talking about. I tell it durability. It can let one board to be your coach, your fitness coach. You can pull in all the books and videos and websites you like on fitness, and then the kind of things you like and agree with and you follow. Put all that stuff on that board, and then you can just revisit that board every day or every week or however often you want to, and it's always there, and it's always going to coach you according to those elements that you put in there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how are you guys bringing in the books? I know on YouTube you can bring in the videos, and I guess you can get a PDF that you could probably transcribe from a video. How are you bringing in the books?
There's a book. So down at the bottom, that you just click the book icon, and you've got access to all the Google books. It's what is
So I'm
it?
going to share it
40,
with
40
this real quick so you
million,
see this,
Rick?
Robert.
Is that
Yeah,
is that
40
right?
million books on Google. So you go new board, any board you want, Robert. So here's your chat box. The only thing you start with is a chat box, right? You can bring a
Mhm.
book in from down here, or you can just directly do it. If you want to talk to this particular chat box, you click the little plus. Here's your book, and you just search it, whatever book you want. Um,
Oh, wow.
I like Ninja Selling. It's a good book. So Ninja Selling is the book I want. There it is. So it's just right here on this element on the chat box. I could also bring it in. You say, well, why do we have it down below too? Well, we have it down below because you might have a different set of things going on the same board that you don't want it connected. You can, disconnect this book if you want to, and you can add other books, but you can just do it right from this chat box. You create another chat box, same thing. Add a book, whatever book you want. There it is. So they're right there, Robert. They're all across the bottom. And these always work. Or if you want to attach it to a specific chat box, you can just do it right from right here. So that's where the YouTube video is as well. If you want to add a YouTube video, it's right here. You just put the URL in. If you want to add a file from your files, you want to search files on your Huzi account, you can search all your files. You can add files in here, browse your files, search through them. But the elements are all right here, Robert, to attach to your chat box or down below.
Oh, great. Wow. Beautiful.
One thing I did the other day, guys, this is like a fun use case. I came in here and said, okay, like Atomic Habits is one of my favorite books. So I said, okay, I attached Atomic Habits as a book. Then I went in here and I prompted it. I just said, hey, give me the 3 toughest concepts in this book to implement and a 1-week plan to practice them. So that was my prompt. That was just me talking. I just said, hey, give me the 3 toughest concepts of this book and then help me implement them. It said, okay, based on this book, here's the 3 toughest concepts. Identity-based habits. Most people focus on outcomes. I want to sell 30 houses, or processes. I want to make calls. But you really need to be the type of person who does this. So you need to focus on identity habits. Learn how to be that type of person. So this is a difficult concept for people. The plateau of latent potential, I talk about that all the time. This is when you think life's going to go like this, and it actually goes like this. It goes very long time with not very many results, and most people quit. That's the plateau of latent potential. So how do we deal with that? And then environmental design is a really big one. Make sure your environment supports your goals. If you say you want to lose weight, don't have tons of candy and sugary cakes and crackers and cookies and junk food in your kitchen. Environmental design. Make sure your environment supports your goals. If you say I want to write handwritten notes, like Brian Buffini says to write 5 handwritten notes every day, do you have note cards? Do you have envelopes? Do you have stamps? If you don't, your environment is not supporting your goals. That's what environmental design means. Make sure the easy choice is the choice, because we're going to make the easy choice. We're human beings. Whatever's easy and around me is what I'm going to do. So make sure that supports what you're trying to do. So that says, okay, here's the 3 most difficult concepts. Here's some protocol to start doing these things. It's going to help me like creating an outline. I can iterate this further. I just started on this one, but you can pick any book and say, hey, give me the top 3 things I should take away from this book and help me get better at them. I love the source first prompting that we have in Canvas because of that, because I can pick and choose books I want to get good at or videos that I want to learn from, not just the general stuff that's out there. So that's a really powerful thing, I think, in Canvas.
I think it's a really good example too of, as over time, Rick and I are there definitely, but pretty soon you always like Huzi and Canvas is your AI thought partner and is almost the first place I go to even like take my initial idea to the next step. And it could be for any process. So not just for business, but certainly like family and relationships and all of that, or definitely my kids, research, coming up with ways to word things, fitness, all of that. But sometimes it's even just like myself and staying motivated. An obscure example is I have a whole board that's on intermittent fasting and the benefits of that. So, Rick, we've talked about this a lot, but I do intermittent fasting for about 72 hours at least once every quarter. And that is difficult, no matter how many times you do it. 72 hours is kind of a lot. And so I have drafted a board that I don't have to recreate it every time. There's no lift, but there's about, at 17 hours, I start to like, do I really want to do this for 3 more days?
Exactly.
I have a whole board prompted where I go in and I say, this is where I'm at. And then it
You
tells
want to
me,
show that, Danielle?
this is,
You want to show that board?
yeah, I will have to find the account and then I can pull it up.
Okay. Okay.
But
Well,
what it does is
I
it
love
tells
that.
me in the moment the health benefits that I'm experiencing right then. And then if I make it to the next milestone, 48 hours, this is what will happen. And just me going back there keeps me going. And so I think real clarity, we talk about this a lot, Rick, right? Which is what's in your way? What are the processes that you continuously go back to, whether it be personal or business? And then what gets in the way and what do you need help with? And so to view AI as your partner.
Yeah, that's such a key concept, is to get it involved earlier, right? Because people ask Danielle and I all the time, well, does it generate images? Yes. Does it generate videos? Yes. It's like the problem with those kinds of questions are, why are you generating an image? Like, what do you want to do? What are you trying to accomplish? Well, I want to create an infographic to put on my social media. Why? Well, I think, that's going to position me as a real estate expert. It's like, okay, we need to really, before we get in here and say, does it do this or this or this? What are we trying to accomplish? Then AI is really powerful. It's a powerful ally. If you kind of know what you want to get done, but you're not sure how to do it, that's where AI is really handy. Get it involved early. But if you just say, well, can I make a picture? Well, sure. I'll make a picture for you. But there's like, for what? It's completely useless. We have to back up a step and say, what are we trying to accomplish here? What are we trying to do? And that's not just real estate agents, anybody in the world. That's a challenging thing for most people, is to have a strategy and a vision of what they're trying to do in the first place. If you have a strategy and a vision, AI is super powerful at helping you execute that. If you don't have a strategy and a vision, you're just going to kind of spin your wheels, playing around with it, doing this and that, but it's not really going to be that valuable for you. And what I was showing a second ago, Danny, I want to make sure I show this too, is the models, because this is the next segue I want to talk about. Is a lot of people don't understand this or know this. We have all the different models built in here, right? So we have Huzi thinking. We also have Gemini 3 Pro, ChatGPT 5.2 thinking model, and Claude Sonnet. And people say, well, what's the difference? Most people have no idea what the difference is. And I agree. So what you got to do is like go to SparkPad. This is one thing I like to do. All the models are right here in SparkPad, right? Huzi Thinking, Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude Sonnet. There's a little bitty like summary of what the models are good at right here for you. You could read these little summaries.
Hmm.
I tell people this all the time. Take one prompt, like my favorite one I did several months ago was tell me about different kinds of dogs. And then I created a new Spark with every single model, use all 5 models just to see how it answered differently. I did it today with muscle cars. So I went in and said, okay, um, tell me about different kinds of muscle cars. I copied this prompt and I used it in all the models. All 5 models, I used this same prompt. Tell me about different kinds of muscle cars. Well, this was the Huzi model, and it gives you kind of a general overview of everything, right? You can just kind of see how the different models, they're very different actually, if you go into them. This was the Huzi thinking model. It was very similar, but it gave me some more information. And it's good just to learn what do the different models do. This one was Gemini 3. Look how short it was. Hardly gave me anything. Here's some cars. What do you want to know? By the way, guys, my favorite model, I'll just cut to the chase, is Claude Sonnet. It is the best. If you want to get content and words, like you're trying to develop a blog post or a post on social media or really think things through, Claude Sonnet is like by far the best. Then ChatGPT, my next choice. So here's one with ChatGPT 5.2. Look how much longer. It says, here's what a muscle car means. Here's some examples. Here's what a pony car is. Here's what, some other things to think about. So here's a pretty long answer. Look at that content ChatGPT 5 gave me compared to Gemini. That's a lot. It's a lot more content. But then I would say, okay, my favorite one is Claude Sonnet, if I can find it.
And keep in mind, they have
There we
access
go.
to the same data, right? So it's really communication style that you're comparing
Yeah.
because
What style do you like best? Yes.
exactly, because it's not so much the information that you're getting back per se. For instance, if you went to Claude Sonnet and you asked one question and then you went back in a new thread and you asked Claude Sonnet the exact same question, the iteration and the generation would be different, right? Because it's generated from scratch each time. But the way that they communicate, the length, formatting, stuff like that, that's going to be really specific to the model. And you'll find that based on, depending on the project that you're approaching, right? You might want a certain communication style in your teammate.
So to me, the Chat GPT is the Winston Churchill style. It's tell the people what you're going to tell them, like a summary sentence. Then there's what you tell them, like the body. Then there's tell them what you told them. So a final summary. That's a great speech outline, by the way. If you want to be a public speaker, that's what Winston Churchill used to teach. Tell the people what you're going to tell them. Then you tell them. Then you tell them what you told them. That's literally what ChatGPT does. Claude Sonnet is a little deeper. It does more things. I mean, look at this. Look at the answer that Claude Sonnet gives me. Same prompt, but it goes into like the eras of the cars, which ones were popular in which era. Then it talks about the pony cars, like ChatGPT did. Then it talks about more muscle cars. It defines them a little bit better. What defines a muscle car? Then it says, what do you want to know? What do to me, I like it better. It gives me more detailed information in a way that my brain likes it. But you can use any of the models. But I encourage you guys to play with this because all the models are here for the SparkPad and they're also in Canvas. And if you don't pick one, like Huzi is the standard. Huzi is the real estate trained model. So it may not be the best model for talking about dog breeds or muscle cars or health and fitness. Maybe Claude Sonnet would be better, or maybe ChatGPT, but they're all built in here. But I encourage you to play with them so you get to understand how all these models work a little bit differently. And you'll start to have ones you like better than the other ones.
Mm-hmm. And you'll find too, especially since it's the default, and if you didn't know that you could change models, you've probably experienced this, that the Huzi model will work for everything.
Yeah.
And the only difference is that you have almost effectively kind of told it before you started that conversation, like, I have my real estate hat on, right? It thinks that you're approaching the project,
That's the Huzi model.
as
Yep. Mm-hmm.
as a realtor. So it has some of that context baked in. It doesn't mean that every iteration that comes back is going to be real estate focused. They're talking about dogs who live at certain houses or in certain neighborhoods per se, but it does have that context. So if the conversation veers that way, it knows probably why you're asking because you're a realtor.
Yep. So the Huzi model, just so you guys know, it's great at everything, by the way, but it is trained in real estate specifically. So if you ask ChatGPT, hey, I've got, a home inspection coming up. I represent the buyer. Who should I be calling to get this home inspection done? ChatGPT might say a general contractor. Huzi will say a home inspector. That's the difference between specialized knowledge, again, and general knowledge. Huzi is trained in real estate. So it's like a ChatGPT overlay that has a real estate lens, if you will. So you can use Huzi for everything, but if you want to play with the different models, if you're not talking about real estate related stuff, I highly encourage you to try Claude Sonnet and to try ChatGPT 5.2 because they're great models. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. One thing we heard, Danielle, recently, I've heard this before, is people tried to find our video from the last month's call.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that surprised me that people didn't know how to navigate the dashboard over to the Learn page. So you go to Learn, like this little graduation cap, right? So you click on the Learn page. Well, the videos all come up, but they're not in any kind of an order. So you need to say, okay, well, I want to find something specific right here. This little pull down, which we've actually talked to the developers. We're going to make this different. We're going to start with the newest first. That's going to be a normal thing, but you can just click newest. I want the newest first. So now they're in order of when we posted them. To me, that's very helpful. If I'm trying to find something that happened last week, I don't want to scroll through 150 different videos. I just want to see the newest ones first. But that's what this drop down is for right here, guys. And I was surprised how many people don't know this. That's why we're doing this. I want to walk you guys through so you can see some of the features on the dashboard and in the different elements and how to use them. But does this help? Like you can literally click alphabetically if you want. You can search for different ones specifically. You can look through different categories. Or the one I just particularly like to do is newest, which I think should be the default. They should just show in chronological order, in my opinion, so that we're going to have the developers do that.
Yeah. So these are all articles that we publish and all members have access to. So they get, and as which may include the videos from our recorded sessions. Any sessions that we do for our members, you guys have access to them and we put them in here. You'll usually find them live within 24, 48 hours. But our marketing department always gets them live in there for you. So like that one right there, the first one, right click magic. So we've uploaded that, which shows you how to right click and group certain things in there. So
what I just showed on Canvas. Yep.
Need a refresher. And then if you sort by categories, there's a get started section as well too, which kind of gives you a high level overview of just individual blocks and what you'd use them for and why and how and where.
Yeah.
And Huzi. So that's there as well. And then we didn't talk about going over this, Rick, but I think it's such a valuable resource that our marketing department has put together. We also have a blog. So if you go to blog.huzi.ai, if I don't have that backwards, there are some fantastic resources in there. You can sort, most of you guys on the call right now are real estate professionals, so you can sort specifically for real estate and then find some really helpful tips, tools, and tricks for Huzi and beyond, actually, AI in general. So we're bringing a lot to you on that blog. Yeah, there we go.
Blog.huzi.ai, guys.
Blog.huzi.ai. Yes. So join the conversation, real estate and AI, that's on the left-hand side, or thought leadership. So if you're a coach or in some other industry, then that would be on the right-hand side. Otherwise, the left is well suited for you. How to partner with AI to do some of these things. So we've got blogs in there on AEO, fixing your headshot with AI, how to use image generation, things like that, generating flyers, tips and tricks for that, a number of different resources.
Yeah, there's a ton of cool stuff on here. And Nathan's doing this. Nate is awesome. A lot of you guys know who Nate is and have met him, but he built this site for us and is putting the content in here, and he does a great job.
And this is public. This what you're seeing right here, this blog for Huzi's, you can direct anybody to it. And again, that's why it's not just Huzi specific, because it's not just for members, but
yeah,
great resource.
Well, Gabriel raised his hand a minute ago too. Do you have a question?
Hey, thanks for asking. So I bought a membership early last year, and then I the year was a blur. It was a tough one for me. And now I'm coming back, and it's just so much deeper than it was when you first launched. So
Yeah.
what's the best way to get started? A, and then B, well, Danielle, I think, answered that. You just go through the videos and try to catch up. But from a real estate perspective, can you show me maybe one or two scenarios on how you use it powerfully for real estate in particular?
Absolutely. I did. So one of my favorite things, sometimes the simplest stuff is the most powerful. One of the things I use SparkPad for, and I teach agents to do this all the time, is to prepare for like a buyer. If you're going to start working with a buyer, so I just did this prompt this evening just to show you what it could do, but I opened it up, I left it. I actually put in Claude Sonnet because I want it to be wordy. Claude Sonnet is more wordy, just so you know. If you want it to be more wordy and more effusive, that's why I like Claude Sonnet. If you want it to be shorter and cut to the chase, Gemini is probably the most concise model. But I put Claude Sonnet, I said, hey, I've got some out of town buyers. This is a use case I would use all the time, Gabriel. I have out of town buyers coming to the Meridian, Idaho area. I'd like some talking points about the history of Meridian, what makes it a vibrant city, why is it so popular for people moving here? Can you give me like 10 talking points? As well, what are the 10 most popular neighborhoods in Meridian? And I know they have 2 high school age kids. What are the schools in the area? And what are the 5 best restaurants? So you could download, I mean, I would imagine if you guys are real estate agents, you prep when a buyer wants to see property. If it's not like right then you're taking a call, you're meeting them at the house, typically you probably do a little prep work ahead of time. This just shaves off this. I did this in 30 seconds. 30 seconds. It would have taken me an hour to do this, literally. I did it in 30 seconds. So it says, okay, talking points on Meridian, explosive growth story. It's doubled in size since 2010. It's got agricultural roots, great location, family first community. So it starts
Can,
talking about Meridian, outdoor recreation, like most popular neighborhoods. There we
are you
go.
sharing are you sharing your screen? Because
Oh,
I
I'm
lost
sorry.
it.
I'm sorry. I'm not screen sharing
No,
it correctly.
I, I thought it was me. I'm panicking over here.
No, you're good. So I was just talking to it. This was the conversation I had because I clicked the microphone. You can go down here and talk to it
Okay.
by clicking the microphone, right? This is the
Hmm.
questions I asked, and it pulls up this. It took it less than 30 seconds to come up with all this stuff. Some talking points, the most popular neighborhoods, the high schools in the area, charter schools, and then the 5 restaurants. And it's like, well, then what else do you want to know? I use Spark mode. You guys know Spark mode, right? You can click this little light bulb right here. If you don't know what to ask it next, you click this little light bulb, and it came up with some suggestions. And one of the suggestions I really liked was tell me about, give me more information about the quality of schools. It was, no, the one I liked was Events at the Meridian Village. No, it's going to give you different ones every single time, which is great. But the one I liked it came up with was search Google for any recent changes in real estate trends. So I just clicked on that. That was one of the sparks it gave me. I said, oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
What are the real estate trends? So it says, okay, here's the average home price, median price, average value, days on market. Is it up
So
or down?
this is what I'm using. I'm doing this in ChatGPT at the moment, so it'd be great to transition over here. As
Yeah.
far as interlinking the books and the videos and things, how would you potentially integrate other stuff to this conversation?
So if you want to add books, so if you're in SparkPad and you want to bring in files or books, you can do so up at the top. You don't have access to all of the books through SparkPad, but you do have access to some that we have preloaded here. And then you can bring in other files as well too. So an example of that may be, you just came from a conference and you have notes or you have an agenda or you have
Hmm.
directions from your broker or something like that. And you want to bring that in and then you want to start iterating a plan for 2026. That could be a
Hmm.
really good example. First of all, welcome back. And we're so excited that you're here with
Yeah.
us
Thank you.
tonight.
Welcome back, Gabriel.
Yes.
I was scared to raise my hand,
Oh
but
no,
No, go.
this is
We love
awesome.
this is so
Um,
cool.
and I don't think we can say it enough. And I know many on the call have heard this a lot, but high level and foundational and fundamental is starting with clarity. So if you put tool first, right, you will often spin. And we see this in all the training Rick and I have done now for the last couple years on AI, specifically in the real estate sector. If people are approaching a tool, whether it be Huzi or something else, and just say, what do I do here? You're generally going to spin out. But if you first start with clarity, like, why am I even sitting down at my desk in the first place? Oh, it's 2026. I need to generate leads. Okay. Where am I lacking clarity? That may be what you take to your AI as a thought partner, which is, I need to generate more business. I did 25 sales in 2025, and I want to increase that to 30 this year. I need to come up with new lead generation tactics, and I'm not sure what I should consider. What, start the process there and then let that drive you. That's a really good place to start, is
Yeah.
clarity.
Having that
Clarity.
clarity ahead of time, like you said, Danielle.
Cool. Thank you so much.
And this is an awesome question, Gabriel. Look at this. So in the same thread, so this first, I just started off with, hey, I've got out of town buyers. Here's some things I want. Here's some things. Help me prepare for these people, right? So it gives me a bunch of stuff. Then I said, okay, search for any recent real estate changes in Meridian. So it does all this, which is pretty cool. How much values are, days on market, growth, all this kind of stuff. It said, well, do you want me to craft a positioning statement for Meridian? So here's why you should move to Meridian. These are things like talking points I could use talking to my clients. But here's my favorite one. Create a list of family-friendly events, because this is a family that's moving here from out of town. That would interest them. So it does this. Then I said, okay, this is the best one. What are common questions out-of-town buyers may have, so I can get prepared to answer? So it's going to give me the questions and it's going to answer them for me right here. I mean, how long would it have taken me to do this research, Danielle? It would have taken me a long time. But it goes through like, what are the property taxes like compared to where we're coming from? So here's our tax rate. Here's the average annual property taxes, what county we're in. What should I budget for utilities? I thought that was high, but that's what it says there. So you can, I'll show you in a second how you can source all this stuff. How much are HOA fees? They're very reasonable. Meridian, typically 250 to 500 annually. What about homeowners insurance? Kind of gives you some cost. Like, what's the commute like? Where do most people work? These are questions that buyers might have, and it's literally answering them for you, so you can prepare for somebody that's not familiar with the area, like how to answer their questions. How do we enroll our kids in school? What if our kids are involved in specialized programs? Like, can I make friends? So I love this as a preparing and a getting a lot of stuff that I can have in a folder when I meet with them now. I've got talking points and they can feel really heard and understood, which I think is a really important thing to convey. Then I asked it to source itself. Down here at the bottom, you can click, well, right here, I can click right here. Influences and sources and references that they use. Where are you getting all this information?
Oh, that's powerful.
It'll tell you right here where it's getting stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I was doing I was doing some work with ChatGPT.
Go ahead.
Cool. I appreciate it. I was using ChatGPT the other day to help craft a winning offer in a competitive environment, and it gave me great suggestions, but then it was misleading me on where in the contract forms to put what it advised. So I had to keep correcting it and saying that that's not the correct line, it's not the correct form. I could actually upload all the state forms that I work with and then ask it to reference exactly those forms.
You could. Well, we haven't gotten this question in a really long time. Early on, we did. You could do that. I think if Eric was on the call, he may push back and say like, "But do you need to?"
Okay.
Yes, you could, but should you? And is that necessary, or is that just kind of more friction, and you're kind of optimizing something that doesn't need to be optimized, like if that makes sense, right? Because you're going to put a lot of effort in that, and then still you're going to need to go, because you have a fiduciary responsibility to your client and you're a fantastic realtor, right? You're still going to go back and triple and double check. So did that gain you any efficiency, or did you win anything? But to spend the time on, I love the thought process in crafting an offer that's going to win your clients the house or the email.
It gave me great advice for sure.
That's great.
Just didn't tell me how to fill it out.
Here's a real estate offer. This is a file I uploaded a long time ago, a couple of years ago. So this is an actual real estate offer in Idaho. Okay. So I can view this form, right? Or I can talk to it. Like if you wanted to, you could just go right from SparkPad and add files, or you can go right from files and say, I want to talk to it. Either way, it doesn't matter whichever way you want to go, but it's going to download the file. And then you can ask questions like, what's on line 247? Or are we missing any initials? Or, what personal property is included? Or, you can just talk to it and ask it whatever you want. Again, like Danielle said, this would be great for a really quick deal summary, but you need to make sure the information is correct. I mean, it should be reading it correctly, but human in a loop, we always need to make sure that you're double checking that.
Sure. One last question. I won't hold you guys up any longer. Can you connect to the MLS now, or no?
No, it's password protected. Most MLSs, that's another one of the big lawsuits going around right now, right? It'll connect to Zillow, it'll connect to Redfin, Realtor.com, all those sites, but your local MLSs that are password protected, it can't get behind those yet.
Okay. So I was doing
But you can pull
see
RPR, you can pull some statistics out of it,
yeah,
save that stuff as a file, go into Canvas and create a context folder, right? Click a context box, put all that
okay.
in there, and you can just talk to it. And
Okay.
Glenn, what were you going to say on that?
Well, a couple of questions, you guys, and Gabriel, I really appreciate you stepping forward and asking some stuff because I kind of spun out a little bit too, trying to, navigate through everything. So going through, I did Eric's training, that was incredible. But then I kind of got lost in the shuffle where we got that email a little while back saying that something's not a part of this anymore. It was a kind of a test thing, and I
AI
don't.
agents. Yes, AI
Okay,
agents, Glenn.
okay. Well, who's AI agents? And because you have Huzi, that it's Huzi.ai. So AI.
Yeah. So there was an add-on product for a short blip of time, which was, think of it similarly to kind of like a chatbot, where you could purchase
Yeah.
AI. We say agents, but it's like a chatbot, AI informed chatbot. So
Yeah, yeah.
you probably didn't have them, so
No.
um,
So, yeah, so I was a little confused on that. So now it's just Huzi.ai that we're going to be directing everything towards,
oh,
correct?
It's always been that
everything
way,
was always
Glenn.
that
Yep.
way.
It's
This was
always
Okay.
been
just
that
like
way.
Okay,
yeah.
That
then
was an add-on.
okay,
Yep.
then my next thing, because Eric did a great job, you guys do a great job, but is Satori gone? Or
The name,
well, it's Canvas now, right?
We just
correct. Yeah.
renamed it Canvas. Yes.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
and we can
Yeah.
go back to the trainings. I know there was one of them that it didn't get recorded, and I was wondering if that was ever going to be re-recorded that he did. But essentially that was it. I kind of got, I stood back like, oh crap, what do I do here? So
Those didn't affect the functionality. The naming of Canvas from Satori didn't affect anything other than the name. The AI agents, hardly anybody was using them. And that's one
okay.
of the reasons we got rid
Oh,
of
all
them.
right,
None
good.
of the platform was affected at all by those
No.
Okay.
changes, Glenn.
And then there's still one-to-one training if we want.
Yeah,
Um,
you can go into the community and
Yeah.
click have questions and jump on a community
No, 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 no,
two
no. The
o'clock in the
one,
afternoon Zoom.
no, the one that was one-to-one.
we have weekly office hours, and that you can jump on a live call for tech support. And so that is every Tuesday at 1:30 Pacific Standard Time. And if you go into Huzi Connect, you can schedule that. So that's a one-on-one. Additional support you have is Huzi Connect through that thread where you can interact both with we're following it as Huzi staff, but then also our community members. So there's the have questions right there, the weekly Q&A sessions. And then you've got the community calls right now. So this, which normally we don't go so far into the technical elements, we stick more high level on these calls. But those are the some additional. And
Okay,
it,
but my understanding is you could go one-to-one and they can help you start creating a platform that you want or to set things up that you can navigate through a little bit. That was my understanding. I like what you're talking about with the blog,
yeah,
and I was wondering if the blog could be put into the toolbar. So we're not trying to,
yeah,
you guys know all these names and everything, but we're overloaded with a lot of information. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So your Whoosy member resources are there in the Learn. So the
okay.
blog, which is outside, that's available to the public. And so we do bring in topics that are specific to members and are far more
Okay.
detailed.
Yes,
So
Okay.
we
anybody
sort
can
of,
access the blog, Glenn, but you have to be a member of Huzi to access anything in here.
yeah,
Okay. All
everything's
right.
So they're
in the
separate
platform there.
sites.
Okay.
And then
So,
I'll mention as well too, if there's ever any tech issues or anything like that, support at Huzi.ai, our email support is available to you Monday through Friday during business hours. And then, so again, that's customer service. If you've got a technical issue or you
Support
experience
at
a bug,
Huzi.ai. Yep.
something like that. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And then real quick
Okay.
too, I want to get Gabriel, did you have one more? Are you done? I also want to get to Daniel here before we run out of time as well. But Gabriel, did we answer your questions?
You did. I was my last question was going to be I could just upload some MLS data in spreadsheet format and basically
Yes.
say analyze all these properties and give me whatever I want.
Yes. Yeah, you could, I would upload them to a context block on a Canvas board. And then
Okay.
you could interact with it and talk to it, and you could update it every month or how often your MLS updates its stats. Typically, it's monthly. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And you would use
Yeah.
Huzi for that, right? Because real estate specifically.
Oh, the model.
I would try Gemini. Gemini is really good at dealing with, different things. It doesn't really matter. They all would
Okay.
do that. They're all going to talk to that context box.
Okay.
Do
And
you have a
with
preference, Danielle,
Well,
on that?
I'll point out, Gabriel, this brings up a good point because the question is like, well, what is it you're asking? So you're
yeah.
bringing in statistics. Are you looking for a statistical analysis? That wouldn't,
So I was
that's,
actually analyzing like 20 sales in the last 90 months and trying to create an offer that was competitive with past sales. So
yeah,
I couldn't do it. I needed the AI and
yeah,
ChatGPT was able to do it and
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
give
so
me
that's
the,
more mathematical than anything else, right? So
yeah,
real estate context aside, you're really just looking for some statistics and some trends,
exactly. Yeah.
numerically. Yeah, yeah.
I'm an idiot, so I needed ChatGPT.
We all
But
do.
it really did some heavy lifting for me, so it was powerful. I'm gonna switch to this now. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Great. You bet, Gabriel.
Daniel,
Daniel,
you've
what do
got
you
a
have?
question.
I just have a real quick question about the videos that are posted. Because you guys both said something that I took some notes, but I missed a little bit of it. And is it possible to bring up that video and then find content within it? Like, is there a way to search for a certain word or phrase or something like that, and it will take me right to it instead of having to go analog all the way through? Oh,
Oh, fantastic use case for Canvas, actually. So when you go look at these videos that are available through Huzi, we do have those unlisted on YouTube. So you can bring that in to a
oh,
Canvas board via that link and then interact with it just like you would,
okay.
right? So it may be like, hey, Rick said something on the call and it was something about a book he had read, right? And it will be able to access that video and then
Okay,
interact with it.
perfect. Awesome, great.
So let
Yeah.
me show you, Daniel, how to do that. You go to the
Okay,
learn page, right? If you got, let's
yeah,
say you want this video. What
okay,
did Rick say about stop winging it or whatever? So right here, watch on YouTube. See
okay,
that?
yep,
You can click that. Now you grab the URL, right?
okay,
So here you grab this now. Then you go back into Canvas.
okay,
I want to add a video.
got it.
Now it knows that whole video.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah. So now you can ask it questions, get a summary, get bullet points. Yeah. Does that
Okay.
help? Is that what you
Oh
meant?
yeah, that's perfect. Exactly. One of them was a book that one of you said, and the other was just I need a little bit more context to the topic. But yeah, great. I
Yeah.
was hoping I could do that and not have to go all the way through and watch for it.
Oh, for
Oops, I
sure.
missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
That's a
Great.
we've
great
talked a
example
lot
too.
about this that, we can talk about thought leadership on these calls. There's so many things we can talk about. We wanted to make sure we took a call like tonight to just go through and like, let's talk about actual using the platform stuff. Cause I do a lot of the onboarding calls and those are the questions I get from people that have used it very little. And some people that have used it quite a lot, even it's like, they have what I consider, those are basic questions, but obviously I'm not doing a good enough job of teaching them this. So we need to get in here and talk about this stuff sometimes. I mean, I want you to know how to group things together. I want you to know how to create a file. I want you, where to go to find different stuff. If you haven't played with it a bunch, it can be overwhelming. And that's
Yeah.
what these calls are for, right? Yeah.
The other thing we don't mention much, but we send out, our marketing team sends out emails with new features that have been pushed as well too. If you're not receiving those, they could be landing in your junk. So take a look and keep an eye out for them. There are some weeks, right, where we don't have something and we don't want to like flood your inbox with just stuff just because. But if you're not getting pretty consistent emails from us, check your junk mail because like for instance, the grouping and stuff, I think that was one of the feature updates that went out in December. And so keep an eye out for them. And you may be getting some like on these live calls, but not the feature updates because they are coming from different departments. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's a good one, guys. This would be a fun one to search once it goes on the learn page as well. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, I just had a quick question, because I was thrown off a little bit when Daniel, when you were mentioning uploading the documents. Um, if, um, if you were, let's say you had a listing and you're getting multiple offers, wouldn't you want to upload those offers to help kind of rack and stack and figure out kind of which is the best offer? I mean, how would you go about doing that? Would you upload the offers as they come in and kind of work through Uzi to help you kind of evaluate which is the better offer?
That sounds like a great business process, and you could absolutely use AI and your Huzi platform. In fact, you have a whole canvas board that if you're dealing with multiple offers on a repetitive basis because you've got deals flowing in, you may just have a board specifically put together for multiple offer analysis where you've got your own process and how you like to analyze different things put together so that all you have to do is drop in now the 7 latest offers, right? And then you've got your prompt and you can say, run this. Whatever process it is that you typically do, think about now you have the ability to AI empower power that
Hmm. Okay.
process. Um,
So Robert, what I
Yeah.
would do is I would scan the offers, right? If it's
Mm-hmm.
paper, I'd scan them. If they're digital, I would save them on my computer. I would go into files right here. I would click add files. I would find them. I would add them, right? I would just add the files to this. And then I would go into Canvas. I would start a new board. I could share this board with my client. That's the cool thing, right? I could share this board with my client if I wanted to, so they could see it. And let's say I've got an offer I want to deal with. Well, I find the file. I find it. Well, where is it? Let's say this is the offer. I
Mm-hmm.
attach it. Now I can talk it to it. And if I've got another offer, I attach another file. Now I can compare and contrast these two. I can go in this chat box and say, hey, can you evaluate these two offers? Tell me which ones you like and why. What are some red flags I should look out for? Like, ask anything you want, but that's how
Oh,
you
wow.
bring the files into here, right? You bring your files into the canvas by going to files on your dashboard, adding files, and then saving them in here, Robert.
mhm. No, and
Oh, yeah.
keep in mind to like if you're new to AI and you were to go in and just put in 2 offers and then you were to simply just ask the AI which one's the better offer, that obviously we know as
It
realtors
doesn't know,
far
but
more
it'll tell you.
complicated than that. And so
Yeah.
keep that in mind too. It's like you would want to take some time to really prompt it, maybe provide information about your client and what their next step is. And that timeline is king for these people. And it's not so much bottom line net return or something like that, right? Um,
Sure. Yeah.
or you may find that in order for that process to be done well to your level of service to your clients, it's not something you would really optimize. There's something else in the process that you would AI
Mm.
optimize. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm getting it.
And what Danielle said, Robert, you could go into your contacts, create a contact for this person, and write all kinds of notes or just talk to it, tell it everything you know about the client, right? Then you could come to a board like this, have a chat box, and you could add your contact.
Hmm.
So you add your contact to this now, and then you can bring in the offers, and it's going to know the notes that you talked about with the contact and use that to help you. But still, you're going to want to ask it very specific questions of why is it recommending certain things. But you could add as much information as you wanted to the chat box to help it decide.
Mm. Okay. So for that contact, you could add emails or correspondence that you're having with that contact there in
Yep.
that.
Anything you have in the contact itself, if you have contacts under your contacts, you can add a contact. You just
Mhm.
their name, email, phone number, and then everything else is just notes. Just add all the notes. And you can type them, or you can go into SparkPad and say, hey, my contact, Craig Fisher, can you add these notes to it, please? And just talk to it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And then when you go into Canvas, you can bring in a contact,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
Contact right
One
here.
one thing, a use case that's really specific, but I think everybody on this call probably has had this situation where you've got an offer that's come in and you're not sure that your sellers are really going to be into it, but there's a lot of information that they should take into consideration, like how many showings have we had in the last couple weeks, right? What was the price reduction that we recently had? Maybe other homes that were on the market. Now, that's what I use my Canvas board for, to take that really laborsome process that can be just really bog you down and slow you down, and AI empower it. So maybe I have a context blocks, which does show kind of more, I've added in there how many showings we've had or different feedback, things like that. And then I use the Challenger sale book. I bring that in and I tell AI as my thought partner, hey, I'm prepping for a call with my sellers and I know they're going to start off feeling this certain way and I need to lead them or provide them with some additional context and food for thought. So help me prepare for this call. So here's all this information, but my real objective when I approach the board is I want to help my sellers digest this, and not just, I don't know, see it at face value, but take all these
You
things
want
into
some scripts and
consideration.
some talking points to help them understand
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Now, would each board be another transaction? Is that how you would group it, where a board would be a transaction? How would you group that as far if you're going from transaction to transaction or
Robert, it
listing to
totally
listing?
depends. It totally
Yeah.
depends. So for instance, if you have a board that's just like overcoming objections, then maybe
Mhm.
I just bring in a transaction, but on that board, the board is about that specific thing. Or maybe I have a board that's about each house. And on that board, I do then marketing and I do email content creation for how people organize their boards really varies. I know Rick and I approach it different ways. So Eric and
Mhm.
I, and I even vary depending on the project that I'm approaching. So
Yeah,
it
sometimes
just
I do a
depends
different
on what
board
you're
for
working
everything. Sometimes I do a bunch of stuff on the same board. Just depends kind of on what I'm doing and my mood.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Gabriel, you had another question too. I think Gabriel had his hand raised.
Yeah, this is sorry to ask another dumb question, but this is so powerful, guys. Thank you. I with ChatGPT, I always have to tell it, look, I'm the world's greatest real estate agent, competing with Ryan Serhant, blah blah blah. And then I say,
Right.
you're the world's best copywriter. Give me the best output scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. Where would I set those parameters here?
Great question. So if you're using Canvas, you can have those in context blocks and they may change from board to board because Gabriel, a good
Perfect.
example is I may be the best realtor on one board, but on the next board, I'm actually a mom of two young girls, right?
Exactly.
And the fact that I'm a realtor doesn't really apply. But so now that you can save those personas and certain blocks, you can bring them into multiple different boards. So you're creating ones and then they're informing maybe a new board or something that you've
Yeah,
created.
create
So
that
they're
persona one time, Gabriel, and then
you
you can.
create the personas. Where would you
Yep.
create them, Rick? Can you just show me real quick?
It's a little
Yep.
face, so it looks like a smiley face down at the bottom and it says persona, and you can simply
In
create one by just
canvases?
saying,
Yep. So if you're in Canvas, right down here at the bottom, right here it says
Okay.
persona. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
I click that. This is where you tell it I'm the world's greatest real estate agent. I want, want to be compared to Ryan Serhant favorably. I'm going to win every time. You're the expert. You're going to be the copywriter, or you're going to be the script person, the script coach, whatever. You just create this persona, and as soon as you
Okay.
save it, you could add a book. You could add the challenger set. You could add anything you want to this to make sure it's even better.
Oh,
Then when you
fantastic.
have your personas, you can just your real estate analytics advisor. There it is. It's
So
going to use this guy every
it's
time.
so
I basically tell it who it is as well. Like you're the
well,
world's
that's what the
greatest
persona
copywriter.
is. Yeah,
Okay.
Yep.
to clarify, Gabriel,
It's
great
not just
question.
me,
Thanks for asking.
it's the chat as well. Okay.
Yes, it's the persona.
Yeah, you would
Guys,
not
this is
put you
sick,
in
man.
this. Yeah,
This
you
is
would
so
not put
good.
you in this for sure.
What are you gonna say,
You would be in
Danielle?
a context. I was going to say you would not put you in this persona. You would be in
Right.
like
It
a
would be
context block.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I misunderstood. So
Yeah,
the
I'm glad
persona
you
is
clarified.
The
the
persona is
AI.
separate from you and it's repeatable. You can use it in multiple boards. But for this board, you could create a context block and put what you want it to do right here.
Okay.
But
So I have a
I use
persona
personas
for
all the time because they're repeatable across boards. I can go
is
into different boards
but
and
you
use the
said the
same persona.
persona is not for me.
So the
It,
persona
so
is
I'm the
the
world's
person.
greatest real estate agent. Is that a
That is not.
persona?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. So the persona is the AI you're wanting to interact with.
Understood.
So if you want a marketing perspective, your persona is a marketing expert.
Okay.
And you can be very specific. So maybe
Mhm.
you're wanting, a sales consultant specifically for a tech startup.
Yeah.
That's who you want to
So,
interact with in that chat.
so would you say another word for a persona would be avatar? So you're trying to create a particular avatar. So you want a Sirhan type of avatar or a persona.
Yeah, or a team member or
Okay.
It's an
but your
you're creating
AI,
an expert. It's the expert.
Yeah.
Expert. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Awesome.
And
think
then
about it like
how
your AI is assuming a persona. Think about it
yeah.
that way. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then the context, how are you using that context? That's what you want to do. That's a
Not
function you
necessarily.
want
It
to.
could be any, it could literally be anything. It could, but it is going to override and inform everything that it's connected to. So for instance, I may have a context box that's just everything about me. I've got one that I was planning a summer itinerary for my kids, and I had one that was just like, okay, they're 9 years old and they're 7 years old, and these are the things they're into, and this is what I value as a parent. And it just sits there. I never have to tell it again. It's like a memory, right? Um, or I've got context blocks on some boards where there's multiple, and it's every time I'm creating something for this project, I want it to be in this form. And then I've got another context block, and they could be all combined. It's just my organization style, where it's, people who come to this call are coming for this thing. So when I put together an agenda, right, keep that in mind. Think about it like static information that you want informing your
Okay, so
AI.
let me see if I understand it. So are you saying the context block will be all about you? So you're introducing AI to who you are and what your business is, or um
It could be anything. I could just say, um, my neighbor likes purple. That could be the context, right?
okay.
Or I only work in the Midwest, or just anything that you want, always informing static information, overriding the AI, if you will, kind of, or informing the AI.
Okay. Now, would you have more than one context block?
If you want it, or you can combine them in all context blocks. The reason you might have multiple on one board is because you might want to delete some connections and just have one informing a chat, where you may have all three, or you could have a laundry list of stuff that informs everything it's
Yeah.
connected to, whatever you prefer.
This is where, guys, I would suggest you guys play with it. Play with
Yeah.
personas, play with context, see the outputs that you get, and you'll be amazed. Like, oh wow, I get a lot better outputs when I have more context for the AI to grab onto. And that's where, again, I like that question. What do you need to know from me to do whatever I'm trying to do? What do you need to know from me to create a custom exercise plan for me? What do you need to know from me to create a custom meal plan? Don't just say create a custom meal plan, because then it's going to be super generic. It's like, no, what do you need to know from me to create me a custom meal plan? Then it's going to ask a bunch of questions. Answer all those questions, you get a much better output. So that's practicing how to use AI, is get out of the mindset of just giving it tasks. That's what most people do. Do this, do that, write this, create that. It's much more powerful if you say, what do you need to know? This is what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm trying to go from here to here. What do you need to know from me to help me do this, and create a personalized action plan for me? Otherwise, it's going to give you just a generic plan that doesn't really have anything to do with you. Always ask it those questions, guys. What do you need to know from me? So I know we're way over. Thank you guys for sticking around. We're 15
Thanks
Uh,
minutes
for
over our
thinking.
time, but I
Thank
appreciate
you
everybody
guys.
being on here.